Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene has taken the stand to answer some questions about her role in the January 6th Capitol riots, and you're not going to be surprised that she can't seem to provide any straight answers.
Ms. Greene, this is a tweet that you sent out on January 2nd, 2021, correct?
I'm not sure.
Okay, you don't recall this?
I don't recall tweeting that, no.
Okay. Did anybody in January of 2021 tweet things on your Twitter account without your permission?
On what day?
Any time from November of 2020 to January 6th.
I don't remember. That's difficult to answer.
Okay. You'd be surprised if somebody got into your Twitter account and tweeted something without your permission, wouldn't you?
Well, no one tweeted anything without my permission. I just don't remember who tweeted what.
Did you say these words that are quoted on the bottom? Did you say that?
According to the CNN article I did, I don't remember.
Do you recall saying?
I don't recall saying all of this.
You know Ali Alexander, don't you?
No, I don't really know him, no.
When you say you don't really know him, you've met him, right?
I've seen him before, but I don't know him.
Yeah, how many times have you been in his physical presence, to your knowledge?
I cannot even guess. Hardly any.
10? 20?
No.
Have you shaken his hand?
I've shaken his hand before, yes. I
have
shake hands with pretty much everyone I meet.
Lots of people, right?
No, I shake hands with lots of people. And I have no idea what's going on with my Twitter. Twitter? Do I have a Twitter? I don't know what that is. What is that? I don't remember calling Nancy Pelosi a traitor and saying that what she's doing is punishable by death and liking a post that showed that the only solution to dealing with Nancy Pelosi is a bullet to her head. What? I don't remember any of that stuff. I'm just a rib woman. You know, I'm the weaker sex, and I just don't know anything. That's her entire defense. Again, she had testified repeatedly that she didn't remember or couldn't recall on very basic, straightforward questions. Whether or not she had talked about the January 6th protests with other members of Congress, which she most certainly did, or any of the Stop the Steal organizers before the Capitol riot. In fact, look, it got so bad that the administrative law judge Charles Boudreaux agreed to recognize her as a hostile witness. Which, again, makes a lot of sense because she seems very hostile to questions. And, of course, her belief in the conspiracy theory that the election was stolen from Trump. So now, either Marjorie Taylor Greene suddenly has the worst memory of Congress, and that's saying something because we have Dianne Feinstein, who literally is mentally declining. She can't remember conversations with people she has had the current day, or even in that legislative session. Or, you know, something else is going on. Now, Greene even dodged questions about how she uses Twitter and Facebook and repeated false claims about voter fraud in the 2020 election. She also testified that she had no expectation of violence on January 6th. In fact, here's what she said. I have never once seen violence from Trump people. The only violence I've ever seen is from Antifa and BLM rallies. BLM rallies, of course, over 90% peaceful. Yes, were there riots? Yes, that had happened. Were there police crackdowns with no violence, or at least with police had actually starting that violence and not having violence from the protesters at first? Yes, that had also happened. Were there instigators, people that would come in and start violence in order to get a police crackdown going? Yes, all of that stuff happened. It was a mess. And so, that's the thing. Here on January 6th, it was also a mess, but a coordinated mess. And so I'm not surprised, though, that she would bring that up to defend herself, because that is the current thinking from the right wing. That is their current defense. Well, deflection. No violence here for Trump supporters. Oh no, I've never seen violence. Well, then you haven't seen any of the numerous videos of Trump supporters starting violence. And again, I'm not saying that Antifa hasn't punched a Nazi. Yes, that video is very, very prolific, and that's been around as well. But what I'm saying is that she's completely ignoring any of the violence on on her side, when we on the left, we acknowledge that there has been some violence on our side. And so understand that that's what they're going with. No, we're complete and perfect angels, and it's the left that's the real violence. And by the way, January 6th, they're just tourists. Peaceful protest, and or were peaceful protests, but also FBI. Come on, nobody believes that except for brainwashed right-wingers. Now, that said, there are receipts to some of these questions that she could not answer. In fact, I'm going to show you some of that right now.
The second page of the document has a quotation that reads, quote, "All of us together, when we rise up, we can end all of this. We can end it. We can do it peacefully. We can. I hope we don't have to do it the other way. I hope not. But we should feel like we will if we have to, because we are the American people." Do you recall making that statement in 2019 in connection with a protest around Fund the Wall?
No, I don't recall.
Ask Nancy. Go ahead. Next.
Are you denying that you made that statement?
Objection noted.
You denying that you made that statement?
I'm saying I don't recall.
Okay. You're not denying it, you just don't recall.
It's a CNN article.
She said she does not recall. That is the answer. Let's move on.
See, all of us together, when we rise up, we can end all of this. We can end it. We can do it peacefully. We can. I hope it doesn't have to, we don't have to do it the other way. I hope not. But we should feel like we will if we have to, because we are the American people.
Just finished with our meetings here at the White House this afternoon. We had a great planning session for our January 6th objection. We aren't going to let this election be stolen by Joe Biden and the Democrats. President Trump won by a landslide.
I cannot certify a stolen election. On January 6th, if you're able, there are going to be possibly 1 million or more people coming to Washington to be there for this historic event. It's critical for everyone to show up and show the nation who we are. The only right thing to do is to stand up and defend the president. And on January 6th, that is exactly what you're going to see us do.
Well, I mean, you showed the nation exactly who you were on January 6th. She was 100% correct about that one. Look, that's just some of the receipts that they have, okay? And I am glad that they've decided to dig up her Twitter history. I know it's not too difficult for them to do. I'm actually quite surprised that she didn't scrub her tweets or her own videos. They're there. They're there. That said, maybe they think, what do we care? We're going to get away with it anyway. And so that gets me concerned about this, right? Because understand that this is a very high bar. And understand that this also could set a major precedent when it comes to Donald Trump, for example, running in 2024. And so this could be the first big case to be adjudicated, at least when it comes to January 6th. And it's very, very important. Very, very important. Because again, you look at the statements that she has made, the tweets that she has made, the videos that she has made on this, and you look at the same thing that Donald Trump had been doing, his statements, his tweets, his videos on it. I mean, that's very, very concerning, right? So much evidence that they have, but with that really high bar, very concerned. Now, the fact that she's also basically refusing to answer any of these questions, and then when she does, she's incredibly vague about it, and even accuses this of being fake news, CNN. Oh, look, it's CNN. That says I did that, but I said that, but I don't remember that. It's CNN anyway. And then the idiots in there. And by the way, I think Matt Gaetz is one of the people that's sitting in the crowd. Applause. Gave her applause. Oh, good job. Good job for dodging that question. Great job. So look, it does show you that she is in full defense mode. And her strategy is, I don't know, I don't remember, I didn't mean violence. I just called for a peaceful gathering. That's all. I don't know if it's going to work. Now, and I mean the case against her. I always land on these things with a bit of cynicism. As much as I am convinced that she absolutely added to the violence and wanted violence on January 6th and wanted to overthrow the election, whether it be violence or not, I don't think she cared in how it worked or how it happened, as long as people like Trump and her stayed in power. That's all they cared about, right? But I come at this from cynicism, okay? And it's very rare in my, from my experience, to see people who are powerful get held to account. And so, especially when it comes to Republicans, and especially since Marjorie Taylor Greene until recently was hauling in millions of dollars worth of campaign donations. I think that's also very relevant too. So now I'm curious to see what else they have. This continues. I hope that it's going to be enough to prove to a judge that this person, Marjorie Taylor Greene, should not be able to run in her next election because of the aid and comfort that she gave to insurrectionists. But as I said before, I don't know how it's going to go. And my default setting at this point is to expect the worst.